Huge 4-0 Wednesday to wrap up the month of May. Some big dogs. Nats plus 210, Brewers plus 160, Angels plus 130. That wraps up a plus 24 unit month. And we got a big Thursday coming up, NBA Finals. John, got to be feeling good today.
Feeling real good. Nothing better than hitting 4 for 4 dogs. Told you guys the other day, dog days of summer. It's after Memorial Day, and that's what it is. Hit a lot of dogs. We'll keep crushing it with dogs. Got 4. Well, we got 4 more today. 4 more dogs today. We're going to give you guys a little insight today, but not going to give you all the bets. To get all the bets, I don't have my shirt on, so I can't point to it. But how to beat the bookie. There you go, Ben. Ben's working the black one today. Want to always keep the shirt on when you're running good, but that shirt needed to get washed. I had to take it off today. Very superstitious. That one's in the wash today.
It's Thursday. A lot of baseball cards. So John's got to impress the ladies tonight.
Yeah. So today, let's get started. We got one basketball game, so let's get that out of the way. Then we'll come over back to the baseball because right now I don't have a bet in the basketball game. But it's Denver or nobody, and once I reel off the stats, you'll see why. So we're looking at this matchup. The teams have met 10 times the last 10 meetings. Denver's won and covered 9 of the 10. The only time that the Heat won was actually in the bubble during the COVID year. So take that game out of there, and Denver's won basically the last 9 straight up and against the spread. Last time that Miami's actually won in Denver, you got to go all the way back to November 30th, 2016. So it's setting the clock all the way back. They've lost their last 6 trips there by 12.7 points per game. Look, Miami coming off that grueling 7-game series. Mm-hmm. Denver's been resting, finished off the Lakers in 4. They finished the whole week ahead of time. The only chance that this Heat team's got is the rust factor. Like I said, Denver's owned them. They owned them in Denver. They've got the rest. They've got everything. Will they come out a little rusty, being off for so long? If that's the case, maybe Miami could jump up, still riding that high from Game 7. But I just can't see it lasting. This line opened 6, which was a wrong number. My numbers on the game, if you guys had to beat the bookie members, I think we talked about it early in the week. I've got Miami Heat rated 37.0 on the road. And Denver rated 43.6 at home. So you say, well, it's only 6.6. We should be taking the Heat. That's just the base number, okay? They own them. They've got all the rest of the spot belongs to them, as we explained, coming off the grueling 7-game series. Denver getting the rest. So this game to me is 8.5. The line is 9. I can't make a bet on it, but it's not. I'm not on the Heat in this one. The best way to look, as I said, Heat jump out early due to that carryover of the momentum. Just don't see it last. Maybe get a number on Denver. So we'll watch the game, but other than that, this one looks like a wait and see.
Yeah, if you guys looked at that Heat Celtics game 1, that line was 8.5 as well, but the spot was flipped. You had Celtics coming off of a game 7 and Miami coming in, and that number was still in that 8.5, 9 range. Obviously, Miami went in and took care of business. They won that game outright. We were on that side, but the spot's just completely flipped now. And you have Miami going into the altitude after the 7-game series against a team who's been resting, against a team who owns them. It's just a really tough spot. So it's all Denver, absolutely. I think it's worth the lay here. Yes, a little bit hesitant because it's a lot of points in a playoff game, let alone a finals game. It was one of the bigger finals favorites we've had in a long time, but it is a 1 seed versus an 8 seed. I'm not disrespecting this Heat team. I know they're a different kind of an 8 seed. They've been in the conference finals 3 of the last 4 years. They've been doing damage, but that series took a lot out of them. It took a lot more than it should have. Put them in this spot now. I think Denver's going to take care of business. Statement game from the Nuggets game 1. The rust factor definitely could be there early on. I don't see it lasting for 4 quarters. And a lot of those Heat games, they ended up being blowouts where they had losses. They were either really close down to the nail or there were some blowouts in there in that Celtics series. I think we're going to see a blowout here for game 1. Also look a little bit to the over. I mean, all these Heat road games have been going over throughout the playoffs up until that game 7 in Boston. And I expect that to continue. The game 1's typically very high scoring. Denver versus Minnesota, Denver versus The Lakers that went over, Heat versus Celtics went over game one, Knicks versus the Heat, game one went over. So a lot of these game ones, typically a lot more high scoring. As the series continues, the defense kind of gets better. Guys get more banked up, more adjusted to the other team. So like the over in this game, and I like the favorite. Kind of square, but I think that's worth the lay tonight.
Yep. Like I said, my number on the game, just off my points, just my base rating is 6.6. You've got to give this a 2-point spot for Denver. That makes it 8.5, and that to me is a fair number. So you, sir, was 8.5, and just take a quick check on it right now. 9 there's not a spot that's any different than 9. That's a solid number. So 8.5, 9, just not enough to make a playoff. That so it's my number 8.5 with the lean to Denver. We'll be a spectator in this one right now, guys. Dog days this summer, 4 dogs yesterday. We've been riding the baseball real good, and I hope. Not only hope, but plan on continuing so. Like our spots today, did we hit some crazy numbers? We'll start talking about it. Let's get it going, Ben.
Yeah, the dog day of summer, guys. Last summer, June through August, up over 50 units was our most profitable stretch of 2022. Small card today, but a lot of value. These getaway days can be really hit or miss, sometimes really tough card. Thought Monday was a really tough card. We ended up missing a lot of dogs there, but a lot of spots to like today. Phillies at the Mets. I've already been on the Mets a couple of times in this series. They've been taking care of business. They own this matchup. They've won 9 of the last 11 meetings in New York. Today it's Scherzer versus Walker. Always weird when you have a pitcher returning to a team you pitched for. Walker with the Mets the last couple of seasons, so that's always kind of weird to kind of handicap. Scouting report, you're not going to have a better scouting report than the guy that pitched for your team last year. And then as far as Max Scherzer, I mean, he's just been back to himself the last 3 starts. 2 runs in 18 innings, 19 Ks, 3 walks. Both his home starts. He hasn't allowed a run yet. Hasn't had too many of them yet. This is a big number in this game, but I still think it's Mets or nobody. It's just the ownership factor. Scherzer looking good. They had that really gross end of April, start of May, and this is kind of them solidifying, getting confidence back. Ace on the mound to get a sweep over the reigning NL champs. So I like this spot for the Mets still, even worth the price.
I don't know. I think the number's too high. I don't like Philly, though. Mets own them. It's now 16 of the last 21 overall and 9 of the last 11 in Citi Field. As Ben said, Scherzer getting back to form. I don't like Walker coming back home to see Philly. Philly just cannot win on the road. 4-12 now, their last 16. Mets have won 7 straight at home. So while I think it's an overlay, these are the reasons it is an overlay. Just don't want to take Philly in this spot because of all those reasons. But I'm not laying the Mets. So I'm not even going to say it's this team and nobody. It's just nobody. I'll sit this one out.
Then we have Padres at Miami. Musgrove versus Luzardo. Musgrove looking finally like he has it together again. Last start, quality start, 1 run in 6 1/3 at Yankee Stadium. No walks in that outing either. He's been a bit better on the road. In 2 starts versus the Marlins last year was good. 2 quality starts. And then Luzardo, he's been great as well. They've won 3 of his last 4 starts. In the 3 starts they won, he allowed 1 run in each. He got roughed up in 1 outing in there. He had a quality start for San Diego last year and a 2.57 home ERA in 6 starts. Marlins come back and rallied from behind to win yesterday, so maybe a little bit of a revenge factor there, but this is still Miami or nothing. I mean, you have San Diego now getting in on the back end of a long East Coast trip. Marlins are hitting. San Diego's not. This is home dog all the way.
What Ben said. I mean, that's just it. It's home dog or nobody in this one. Yeah, Musgrove turned it around. Real good performance against the Yankees yesterday. Still can't make them the favorite. West Coast team on the last day of an East Coast trip, early game start against Luzardo, who's been real solid at home. I think holding opponents to 233 batting average against them. San Diego can't hit. They just can't hit. I mean, every day we say the same thing. They started to hit a little bit. We thought maybe they're going to bust out of it, and then they get shut down to 1 run again yet last night. Batting now, what do we got here? 197 this week. They're 29th for the year, batting 220. A little better against lefties, 245. Just not enough to make them a favorite over what Marlins right now. Luzardo's their ace. Alcantara not their ace right now. So I'm going to go with the Heat at home as a dog.
The Marlins at home. You said Heat there, but
I'm
yeah.
sorry, I got the heat on that. Marlins at home as a dog.
Yeah. Rockies at D-backs. Anderson versus Davies in this matchup. Anderson, I mean, Colorado, they're getting out of him 3 starts so far, 3 runs in 15 and 2/3, but all in Coors Field. So he's throwing some good outings in Colorado. Davies, he had 1 start, gave up 2 runs and 5 hits and 3 1/3 in his return. He did have really good numbers against Colorado in Arizona last year, 11.1 shutout innings. Diamondbacks do have an interesting series coming up. They have they host Atlanta this weekend. So right now, them two are up there in the top 3 teams with the Dodgers as far as best record in the NL. Then you have this Colorado team. Obviously, they have road struggles. D-backs have dominated this matchup. They've won 5 of 6 this year, but this is the best spot in the series for the Rockies. You got a pitcher for the D-backs who's just in his second start back. Yes, a good history, but how much length is he going to have? How much of his stuff is really there? It usually takes 2 to 3 starts to get it back. So this is definitely Rockies or no one for me. D-backs have been playing well, and they have dominated this matchup. Just not an ideal spot to back them today.
Yeah, they pretty much dominated the matchup this year. In prior years, it's always a tough matchup. You could take the dog in the series, and at the end of the year, show a profit. Would lean that way. Anderson's been impressive. 3 starts at Coors. If you could do that at Coors, that like I said, very impressive. The Rockies just they go on the road. They're not hitting. Just 235 on the road. They are batting a little better, 305 this week. Blackman has missed the whole series for a bereavement list. He'll be out again today. Also, Chris Bryant, questionable. Got to remember C.J. Cron already on the IL, so he's starting to limit bodies. We'll see if they give Diaz, who's their best hitter right now, he may get the day off. Also, after a few games in a row, Rockies and nobody, just not jumping out of my shoes for one of the worst teams on the road in baseball.
Then we have Guardians at Minnesota. Nice little AL Central matchup. Baby versus Lopez. Just a preface, guys. Right now, Twins 3.5 game lead on this division. Currently, the Guardians are plus 340 to win the Central for you future people. And that could change after this series. I do like them to come out with this division. They still have McKenzie on the IL, who's a nice little arm that they haven't even gotten yet back in the rotation. And Twins have been getting a lot out of their pitching, which we're starting to see regress a little bit with some of these guys. But nonetheless, today it's Bibby versus Lopez. Bibby, first year, is now coming off 3 straight quality starts, 4 runs in 19 and 2/3. Lopez has had some home struggles. He gave up 4 runs in 5 and 2/3 versus the Jays. He's now 2-1, 5.46 in his 5 home starts. This is Guardians dominant in the matchup. They've won 11 of the last 13 meetings. It's Cleveland or no one in this one. Division battle. You have the team who's down in the division. Horrible spot for Minnesota. They played at Houston last night, late game, travel back. Cleveland all the way here, John.
Yeah, I'm going to same thing. 11 of 13 and 5 of the last 6 in Minnesota. Guardians have won. Hey, are they turning it around? Guardians, 12 runs yesterday. Can they start this hitting a little bit? I mean, they were dead last in just or 28th to 29th in just about every category in hitting. So let's see if this 12 runs can get that get them started to start scoring a little bit. BB, real impressive. Go deeper into his stats. Last three starts, 1.83 ERA with a 0.81 WHIP. Only allowed 1 home run over those 3 starts. While Lopez, 6.06 ERA, 1.29 WHIP, and he's been tagged for 5 home runs. Hey, I'll take the Guardians this one as a dog.
Yep, absolutely. Next one is another division battle. Angels at Stros. How about the Halos yesterday? Trout with a bomb, Ohtani with 2. That was part of the big 4-0 day. Detmers versus Valdez. Valdez, you know the story, Mr. Consistent. 9 of his last 10 starts, quality starts. Last 2, both against the A's, but he did what he's supposed to. 1 run in 15 innings. And then 4 starts versus the Angels last year, 1-1, 3.91. Did have some struggles, though, in Houston. 8 runs in 10 innings in the 2 starts there. This is a big price here for Houston. Angels, you know, big series at Chicago. They take 2 of 3 after they got swept by Miami. We'll see if they can compete with the big dogs in the division. I mean, right now, with Texas and Houston up there, got to get some damage done in the series. Big price on this game. Detmers has been solid, so slightly in here to the Angels, but not jumping out of my seat for it.
I did. This number was insane early this morning. They didn't put it up. This wasn't put up overnight. for whatever reason for the pitchers. They put it up this morning, and this number was up at DraftKings at plus 185 all morning, which is a ridiculous number. Right now, guys, we're shooting this podcast. It's 11:22 a.m. Eastern, and this line is sitting at 164. Take back around anywhere from 153 to 149. This was just a huge number. I had to take this whether I liked it or not, and I do lean to it a little bit, and I'll tell you why. A huge pitching mismatch right now with Valdez Detmers. The way Valdez is going, like Ben said, Mr. Consistency, you know you're going to get a quality start at him because he gives you one almost every time out there. Detmers not so much. But Houston just not hitting the ball. First of all, take away the A's series that they swept 3 games in Oakland, and they've won just one of their last 5 games, okay, scoring only 12 runs in those 5 games. The 3-game series against Minnesota, they were just held to 191 hitting. Go on the other shoe. Angels smacked 5 home runs yesterday. So you got definitely a pitching advantage for Houston. But I'm going to give Houston I'm going to give the Angels the hitting advantage as they come in. Just too big of a number. We took this for a 1 unit. It's a big bet. Again, I hate to go against a pitching mismatch, but when the number's so out of line like it is, it was worth a half a bet. 1 unit, I took 185 on the Angels. You can't get close to that number now. The value's gone, guys. Again, another reason had to beat the bookie member. This game was sent out early this morning. So taking 185 and taking 150 are 2 different worlds. So I would not take 150, just so you guys understand that.
Night and day on those prices. No one's better at beating the lines there. Also, not only do you get John's bets as far as beating that line, you also get access to his ratings if you guys become a member. I know we got some questions in the chat yesterday about how to make a line. I'm going to tag at the end of this video the MLB betting line video John did last MLB season. So for those of you guys who had questions yesterday, if you didn't see it, it's going to be at the end of this video. Go ahead and watch it as well. But yeah, so as far as the ratings, you get those also. Brewers at Toronto, John. Peralta versus Gausman. Peralta's had some struggles. 2 of his last 3 starts, 19 runs, only 13 earned, 4 homers. Not going well right now. Meanwhile, Gausman, 3 of his last 4 starts are quality starts, 6 runs and 26 1/3. He has been that ace right there for Toronto, him and Bassett. This is tough, a big number. I mean, first off, for this Toronto team is just struggling. I mean, Toronto 2-2 their last 4. They've been struggling the last couple of weeks. Big number there for Peralta, who's capable of giving you a good outing. I mean, he's been solid this season, just rough lately.
Yeah, look, this was another one. I took 175 on this one. Right now, the best you take is around 155. It was just another number, but I didn't want it. Another pitching mismatch. Good's been real good pitching right now, especially at home. What are we looking at? He's got a 2.10 ERA in 4 home starts, 38 K to 5 walk, strikeout to walk ratio. Real good. Peralta smashed. I mean, I've smashed in 2 of his last 3 starts. Milwaukee batting a .167, but just like yesterday, this number is ridiculous. Yesterday was because of Manoah on the mound for Toronto. No way they could be that big a favorite. And today, Toronto, guys, 5-11 their last 16 overall, just 2-7 their last 9 at home in Toronto. Just too big of a number. Milwaukee's still a first place team, worth the unit at plus 175. So that's why I took them and also took the Angels. Again, I would not take the number now. The best you could take, what am I looking at? Maybe 158 at Circus, the top number you could take. I would not have been interested at 158. At 175 I was. Guys, 17, 20 cents. You're talking about 20 cents on every dollar, 17 cents on every dollar. That's big money at the end of the year. It's not 3 cents where you go, it's 5 cents, it's 6 cents, 20 cents, whole different ball game. So yeah, we're on the 2 big dogs, Angels plus 185, which is an insane number, and the Brewers plus 175, both for half a bet, 1 unit each on those 2 games, and those are number plays. Pretty much, like I said, I'm on them at the right number. I had to beat the bookie members are on them at the right number. If you're going to come in and take 25, 30 cents worse than number, I wouldn't make that bet.
And the last game on the card, Reds at Boston. Since he's taken the first 2 games in the series, a 1-5 straight now, scoring 7.8 runs per game, hitting .317 this week and .278 versus left. He's getting it done right now with this Cincinnati offense. Boston, meanwhile, they've now lost 3 straight, and they're 2-7 their last 9. They do have the ace on the mound, though, to prevent the sweep. Chris Sale back out there. He has been great. His last 5 starts, 4-0, 2.23. Great at home, 31 Ks, 5 walks in his 4 home starts. Pitching edge definitely goes to Sale. Green's a weird pitcher. I mean, obviously he's young, so he's still kind of all over the place, but coming off 6 no-hit innings versus the Cubs, had given up 10 runs in 11 innings prior to. Capable of giving you a good outing. He's capable of giving you double-digit strikeouts, any 9 out there, but also capable of giving up the long ball. And 1 start at Boston last year did give up 4 runs in 3 2/3. This is, the spot for Boston to prevent the sweep with the ace on the mound. Cincinnati on a getaway day. Still slight lean there to the Reds. I mean, yes, Sale's been good, but what Cincinnati's offense has done so far, you just put them in another hitter-friendly ballpark in Fenway. They haven't missed a beat. Slightly in here to the Reds, but I don't want to bust that spot there for Boston.
Everything tells me that the Red Sox are going to crush Green today. He was throwing a gem his last time out. Not only no hit ball for 6 innings, 11 Ks, just 2 walks, which is his main problems, the walks and the long ball. But as Ben said, crushed in 2 starts before that. Got crushed at Boston last year, gave up 4 runs in 3 2/3 innings. Sale, just a totally different pitcher. First 5 starts this year, 1-2, 8.22 ERA. Last 5, he's 4-0, 2.23. Been solid at home in Fenway, which lefties usually aren't solid at Fenway Park. Red Sox, 2-7 their last 9, but they hit .298 in Fenway. This is a must game for a falling Red Sox team. Do I want to lay this? No, I wouldn't lay the favorite, but I just feel that the Red Sox, they get to Green after he had his little no-hit bid going last time out. Hasn't had success at Boston, and I don't think he'll have success there today either.
Yeah, Boston, back-to-back nights, lose by 1 run, and in each of those games, they had bases-loaded opportunities. They didn't score runs in, so definitely scratching at the surface. Could be the day they crack Green and just put up a bunch of runs, so we'll see if that's the case. Really small card, guys, to start off the month of June, but we do have that NBA Finals matchup tonight. Like John said, no bet there so far, but if you guys want to see if we have a halftime line, or if there's any changes to any other bets, go download the How to Beat the Bookie app or sign up on howtobeatthebookie.com. Become a member. You get access to John's ratings, the bets, previews, everything else in there. John, I mean, hell of a Wednesday yesterday, 4-0, hell of a month of May, up 24 units, and a lot of action going on tonight.
4 games today on a small card. This has been a week where there's just been value out there. You usually take a small card like this. I'll be lucky to have a bet or 2. I wound up making 4 bets today. I just see it. Let's just keep these dogs barking, and we'll bark off right into NFL starting in September.
Let's keep it going. For all you guys tuning in, appreciate you guys. Please like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. We see the comments. It does help, so appreciate you commenting. John, let's make some money.
Let's make some more money.